If you are a coach or a consultant that wants a simple way to create a perfect online learning experience for your clients, you are going to love my special guest today. He's going to explain how to build an online education empire. Hello and welcome to the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast, where we share strategies to help coaches and consultants build life-affirming seven-figure businesses filled with passion and purpose. I'm your host, Ken Stephen, and my guest today is Chris Badgett. Chris is the CEO and founder of LifterLMS, which is the leading learning management system for WordPress users. Chris, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here, Ken, and I'm excited to dig into this awesome topic.
Yeah, it is an awesome topic, and I'm excited to get into it too. And maybe the best way to start off is just by letting everybody understand who your ideal client is and what transformation you empower them with.
So, my ideal client is somebody who basically has something to teach and wants to build a career or business around that. And that can come in the form of courses and coaching, essentially. So, helping people do that through their website to create impact, income, and freedom.
Wow, that sounds great. Um, and I know from talking to you just before we went live here that this is a project for you, like creation of Lifter LMS. It's a passion-based project and a purpose-driven project, right? So I think it'd be great to just kind of share the backstory on how you got started with all this.
The short version is I'm a guy who has kind of always followed my passions and I've had a love of learning my whole life. And so, for example, I studied what I wanted to study in college, which was anthropology and psychology and philosophy. After college, I spent a lot of time rock climbing and mountaineering, traveling around the country. Ultimately, I moved to Alaska and ended up managing a sled dog tour business on a glacier that you could only get to by helicopter. While I was up there, I just fell in love with leadership and marketing, and I started becoming interested in this whole online business thing. This is back in around 2007. Um, so after I had my first child and left Alaska, um, I wanted to build an online business. So I started creating courses in the organic gardening niche and permaculture niche with my wife. And then I also started partnering with experts around the world to digitize the in-person workshops they were doing. I started blogging about that on my WordPress website, taught myself how to use WordPress. And then all of a sudden, I opened a web design business just to make money. And then all of a sudden, once I started teaching people how I was, doing e-commerce and building courses with WordPress, um, people started calling me, emailing me, hiring me to build those kinds of websites. And I did that for a while, grew to a 17-person agency
Oh, wow.
doing that. And then in that process, we were doing a lot of custom development at that point. And I decided I wanted to build a software solution with my business partners that could just make it easier for anybody to get started doing that. So we launched Lifter LMS in 2014, and we made most of the product free so that we can help as many people as possible. And then we monetize the business through some premium features like e-commerce. If you're making money, we're going to make a little bit. You're going to make 10 to 100 times more, maybe more than that. Uh, but that's the story of Lifter LMS and where I came from. But I'm really passionate about self-directed education. One more note on that is I decided to do something. My kids are teenagers now, but when they were young, I decided to do something called unschooling, which is no formal education. Let your kids follow their passions. And then as
Mm.
a parent, the role is just to facilitate it, whether it's singing or different sports or music, art, math, reading, everything. Later, they decided they wanted to go to school. They went to public school. Now one of them's in private school. They also do these side tutor things. So I'm really a big fan of just never letting somebody fall out of love with learning and the opportunity that it can create. So that's where the seed of all that passion is.
Well, that's a great mission, right? That's great personal mission. Wow, that's good. Um, Now, you know that we're all about creating seven-figure coaches and consultants, and I'm guessing you've got an interesting perspective on how establishing your own learning management platform as a coach or consultant could help scale you to seven figures. Can you have a perspective on that you can share with us?
Yeah. I mean, I've been around this industry for, I don't know, more than 15 years. So I've seen a lot of success. I've seen a lot of failure. I've seen a lot of modest wins. Um, the main thing is, like you, I'm a big fan of passion being a piece of it. I'm a fan of the Ikigai framework,
Yeah.
which is a combination of what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at or your skills. So that's kind of key. The thing about courses and using a website, um, some of the most successful people I see with our software, as an example, are really helping a previous version of themselves. So they really understand the customer avatar really well. That's not to say you can't build something around an opportunity that you're not the ideal customer avatar, but those tend to work when people help the past versions of themselves. The cool thing about using a website is it can be infinitely scalable and you just get that leverage. You know, literally anybody in the world can see your content, and the power of niching really comes into play. So I'd love to tell the story of one of our successful customers. He's in Israel. His name is Ziv Raviv, and he teaches people how to tie animal balloons. And so there is a micro niche of people called uh, kid entertainers. So they do things like clowns and animal balloons and all this magic shows and stuff. I watched him in a couple years launch to a target market of only 5,000 people worldwide, and he made about $300,000 by year three. And I love that story because first of all, the kid entertainer market, it's not like a wealthy market, but they're very passionate. And if you think your niche is like um, there's not enough people or whatever, I think it's just a great success story. And also the last thing I would add is that I love coaching too and consulting. So in the same way, like we were consulting and building websites for clients for a long time before we built the software. So we really understood our people and we knew how to help them. Um, the same is true for coaches. Coaches and consultants are often sitting on a body of work, and when you can kind of tie in the pattern recognition or, oh my gosh, I've answered this question a million times, that's like a lesson in a course. And so courses can supercharge consultants, and they're also a way to, particularly if you're on the high ticket side of things, people with passion can they don't like saying no. So if somebody can't afford the coaching, you're almost like morally obligated based on your passion to provide a more general course that could still help that person that costs less than the private coaching or whatever. So just throwing those ideas out there.
No, hey, and that's a great insight. That last little bit there is especially for, you know, I'm always advocating to my clients that they should be doing a high ticket offer. And you're right, not everyone can afford that high ticket offer. So that's a great insight for why you should start your own online learning platform. That's a good one. Um, Biggest mistakes that you see people make when they're heading out to start their online learning platform.
We could do a whole episode about that one question, but
Oh my God.
there's two primary ones. The two primary ones are there's one that's inside and there's one that's outside. The inside one, inside of the person, is an over obsession on self. It's like a self-directed focus where, quote, I just want to make money online. I want to have this lifestyle. I want these things. The people that are the most successful have a different mindset where it's more of a service-based mindset where like I really want to help these people and I really know who my target customer is and I understand my avatar, and that kind of mindset of service over more of a self-directed like, oh, I really want to have this money or this life tends to the money will come if you just focus on helping those people, the service. So that's the inside thing. Um, and we're all human, and it's fine to want money and lifestyle and have hopes and dreams, but like that comes help a lot of people get what they want, and then you're going to get what you want. Um, in terms of the other big mistake is um, kind of perfectionism in terms of wanting everything to be perfect. I call it for course
Guilty,
creators,
guilty, guilty.
guilty. Uh, for course creators, the way this plays out is somebody will go into what I call the course creator cave. They'll say they're going to go in there for a couple months and create this perfect course. And then year one ticks by, year two ticks by. They get a little distracted by shiny object syndrome. That could be software. It could be marketing tactics or other trainings in business and stuff like that. And you should be doing all those things. But the ones that make it and the ones that get really big, they take consistent and perfect action. So, for example, instead of going into the course creator cave, they'll just focus on creating a landing page or a sales page for the course, and then maybe have lesson one ready, and they're going to deliver the content live, which is comfortable for a coach and consultant. They're going to hit the record button. They're going to do one training a week. They're going to record that, pop that into the LMS, and that becomes the first version of their course, which they then perfect the next year, the next time, maybe do it again live, maybe just reshoot it after working with these people, filling in the gaps and so on. So the big mistake is uh, perfectionism and also getting wrapped up in imposter syndrome, and kind of breaking through those really helps.
Hey, that's those great insights there. Uh, yeah, perfectionism, guilty. Um, so on the other side of the coin, right? So mistakes people make. So what is there a tactic or a strategy that maybe you'd recommend to make sure people get off to a good start?
I mean, this comes from the old school internet marketing days. I heard this concept. I'd give credit if I knew who originally said it, but I don't. But it's called moving the free line. So a lot of subject matter experts get really wrapped up in like protecting IP, intellectual property, and locking things down. The best marketing is a good product. So I recommend people teach for free, and I'm a big fan of content marketing. So whether you're a YouTuber, like you're a video person, do that. If you're a kind of audio person, podcasting, do that. If you're a writer, blog, or create a newsletter, and just start helping people for free. And there's this worry that, oh, all my best ideas are going to get out there. But if you look at people like, I was in a coaching program with Dan Martell for software founders for a couple years. It was great. And it was a high-end coaching program. And Dan gives away everything he knows on YouTube every week. But the actual paid program is curated. There's a little more resources and action items, and it's, well organized. There's other coaches in there and things like that. So even though all of Dan's best ideas are on YouTube, that's how he gets so many people into his world. And he
Yeah.
happens to be somebody who loves video, but it doesn't have to be video. It can be other things. I also do paid advertising and, partnerships and relationship marketing and stuff like that. But the big thing is, and I'll tell a story to really bring it home. One of my customers at LifterLMS is named Angela Brown. Angela Brown was a middle-aged house cleaner who, over time became known as like, there's some kind of house cleaning association in America or whatever, and they would have conferences, she would speak and all this. But she decided to turn it into an online course and help house cleaners and maids. And what she found was that, first of all, in the beginning, she started a YouTube channel. It wasn't perfect. And she was just teaching like house cleaning tips, house cleaning business tips. And if you think about it, um, in every town around the world, there are house cleaners and maids as a profession. It's a Main Street business, whether it's somebody running a business out of the back of their car with some cleaning products or something a little more formed. But over time, I think last time I looked, Angela Brown had somewhere around 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. She has her membership site, which is full of courses and training to help house cleaning entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale. It's become a huge business. And I watched her do that. And she was a middle-aged house cleaner with very limited technical internet marketing ability, but she had so much passion and her platform just blew up. And if you think about it, I like to tell that story alongside the animal balloon tire because that's a micro niche. There's just only so much total addressable market there. But if you think about house cleaners, like it's a huge niche around the world, and they were underserved in terms of business training and entrepreneurship, and getting advice really tailored to them for somebody who's exactly like them or came from that world.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's wonderful. Um, I guess we're running short on time here, so before we go, I just want you to be able to tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and learn more about Lifter LMS.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw in one pro tip related to that, which is one of the things you can do for marketing and customer success is create a free mini course. So at Lifter LMS, as an example, we have something called the Lifter LMS Quick Start course. It only takes it's about 45 minutes of content, and it shows you the basically 5% of essentials on how to create an online course website, get your course up there, get it up to set for sale. Now, what that free course does is it works as marketing, but it also helps new customers get started in an automated way and reduces support. So I call that a free course lead magnet, and I would encourage any course consultant to do that. And that involves giving away some of your best ideas, but in a way, what you're doing is you're nurturing your ideal customer to be the most ready to work with you, and then also at the same time help them kind of get started even after they're a client of yours. So you can find that at lifterlms.com, and we have the free version of Lifter LMS, which is more powerful than most paid versions. So go check that out at lifterlms.com. And if you like podcasts, I've been podcasting around these topics for over 10 years. So also check out LMS Cast.
LMS Cast. Okay, perfect. Uh, Chris, great insights today. I want to thank you for being so generous and sharing your time and all these great insights. I certainly got some great takeaways. In fact, one was just that last thing you talked about a free course as a lead magnet. Um, that's a great idea. I'm actually going to try that myself. Um, I'm going to post the link to both Lifter LMS website and to your podcast. I'm going to post that in the show notes below. And for anyone listening today who benefited from Chris's insights, please share this podcast with your friends so they can benefit too. And I'll see you all on the next episode of the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast. Chris, thanks again for being such a great guest.
Thanks, Ken.